I caught this morning morning's minion, kingdom of daylight's dauphin, dapple dawn-drawn falcon, in his riding of the rolling level underneath him steady air, and striding high there, how he rung upon the rein of a wimpling wing in his ecstasy. Then off forth on swing, as a skate's heel sweeps smooth on a bow bend, the hurl and gliding rebuffed the big. I caught this morning morning's minion, kingdom of daylight's dauphin, dapple dawn-drawn falcon, in his riding of the rolling level underneath him steady air, and striding high there, how he rung upon the rein of a wimpling wing in his ecstasy. Then off forth on swing, as a skate's heel sweeps smooth on a bow bend, the hurl and gliding rebuffed the big wind. My heart in hiding stirred for a bird, the achieve of, the mastery of the thing. But O air, pride, plume here, buckle, and the fire that breaks from thee then, a billion times told lovelier, more dangerous, O my chevalier. No wonder of it, sheer plod makes plough down Sicilian shine, and blue bleak embers are, my dear, fall, gall themselves, and gash gold vermilion. The world is charged with the grandeur of God. It will flame out like shining from shook foil. It gathers to a greatness like the ooze of oil crushed. Why do men then now not wreck his rod? Generations have trod, and all is seared with trade, bleared, smeared with toil, and wears man's smudge and shares man's smell. The soil is bare now, nor can foot feel, being shod. And for all this, nature is never spent. There lives the dearest freshness, deep down things, and though the last lights off the black west went, oh, morning at the brown brink eastward springs, because the Holy Ghost over the bent world broods with warm breast and with bright wings. Look at the stars. Look up at the skies. Oh, look at all the fire folk sitting in the air. The bright boroughs, the circled citadels there. Down in dim woods the diamond delves, the elves' eyes. Gold, where quick gold lies. Wind-beat white beam, airy abilene set on a flare. Flake doves sent floating forth at a farmyard scare. Ah, well, it is all a purchase, all is a prize. Buy then, bid then, what? Prayer, patience, alms, vows. Look, a May mess like on orchard boughs. Look, March bloom like on mealed with yellow sallows. These are indeed the barn. Within doors house the shocks. This peace-bright paling shuts the spouse Christ home, Christ and his mother and all his hallows. Glory be to God for dappled things, for skies of couple colour as a brinded cow, for rose moles all in stipple upon trout that swim, fresh fire cold chestnut falls, finches' wings, landscape plotted and pieced, fold, fallow, and plough, and all trades their gear, and tackle and trim. All things counter, original, spare, strange, whatever is fickle, freckled, who knows how, with swift, slow, sweet, sour, a dazzle dim. He fathers forth whose beauty is past change, praise him. Summer ends now. Now, barbarous in beauty, the stooks arise around. Up above, what wind walks, what lovely behaviour of silk sack clouds. Has wilder, wilful, wavier meal drift moulded ever and melted across skies? I walk, I lift up heart, eyes down all that glory in the heavens to glean our Saviour. And eyes, heart, what looks, what lips yet gave you a rapturous love's greeting of realer, of rounder replies. And the azurous hung hills are his world-wielding shoulder, majestic, as a stallion stalwart, very violet sweet. These things were here, and but the beholder wanting, which two, when they once meet, the heart rears wings, bold and bolder, and hurls for him, oh, half hurls earth for him off under his feet. Thou mastering me, God, giver of breath and bread, world's strand, sway of the sea, Lord of living and dead, thou hast bound bones and veins in me, fastened me flesh, and after it almost unmade, what with dread thy doing, and dost thou touch me afresh? Over again I feel thy finger, and find thee. I did say yes, oh, at lightning and lashed rod, thou heardst me truer than tongue confess thy terror, O Christ, O God. Thou knowest the walls, altar and hour and night, the swoon of a heart that the sweep and the hurl of thee trod hard down with a horror of height, and the midriff a strain with leaning of, laced with fire of stress. The frown of his face before me, the hurtle of hell behind, where was a place? I whirled out wings that spell and fled with a fling of the heart to the heart of the host. My heart, but you are dove-winged, I can tell, carrier-witted, I am bold to boast, to flash from the flame to the flame then, tower from the grace to the grace. I am soft sift in an hourglass, at the wall fast, but mind with a motion, adrift, and it crowds and it combs to the fall. I, steady as a water in a well, to a poise, to a pain, but roped with always all the way down from the tall fells or flanks of the whale, a vein of the gospel proffer, a pressure, a principle, Christ's gift. I kiss my hand to the stars, lovely asunder, starlight wafting him out of it, and glory in thunder. Kiss my hand to the dappled with damson west, since though he is under the world's splendor and wonder, his mystery must be in stressed. For I greet him the days I meet him, and bless when I understand. Not out of his bliss springs the stress felt, nor first from heaven, and few know this, swings the stroke dealt, stroke and a stress that stars and storms deliver, that guilt is hushed by, hearts are flushed by and melt, but it rides time like riding a river, and here the faithful waver, the faithless fable and miss. It dates from day of his going in Galilee, warm laid grave of a womb life grey, manger, maiden's knee, the dents and the driven passion and frightful sweat, thence the discharge of it, there its swelling to be, though felt before, though in high flood yet, what none would have known of it, only the heart, being hard at bay, is out with it. Oh, we lash with the best or worst word last. How a lush-kept, plush-capped slow will mouth to flesh-burst gush, flush the man, the being with it, sour or sweet, brim in a flash full. Hither then, last or first, to hero of Calvary, Christ's feet. Never ask if meaning it, wanting it, warned of it, men go. Be adored among men, God, three-numbered form. Ring thy rebel, dogged in den, man's malice with wrecking and storming, sweet past telling of tongue. Thou art lightning and love, I found it, a winter and warm. Father and fondler of heart thou hast wrung, hast thy dark descending, and most art merciful then. With an anvil ding and with fire in him forge thy will, or rather then, stealing as spring through him, melt him, but master him still. Whether at once at a crash, Paul, or as Austin, a lingering out sweet skill. Make mercy in all of us, out of us all mastery, but be adored, King. Some find me a sword, some the flange and the rail, flame, fang, or flood, goes death on drum, and storms bugle his fame. But we dream we are rooted in earth, dust. Flesh falls within sight of us. We, though our flower the same, wave with the meadow, forget that there must the sour scythe cringe, and the blear share come. On Saturday sailed from Bremen, American outward bound, take settler and seamen, tell men with women, 200 souls in the round. O Father, not under thy feathers, nor ever as guessing the goal was a shoal of a fourth, the doom to be drowned. Yet did the dark side of the bay of thy blessing not vault them, the millions of rounds of thy mercy not reeve even them in. Into the snow she sweeps, hurling the haven behind, the Deutschland on Sunday, and so the sky keeps, for the infinite air is unkind. And the sea flint flake, black-backed in the regular blow, sitting east-northeast in cursed quarter, the wind. Wiry and white, fiery and whirlwind, swiveled snow, spins to the widow-making, unchilding, unfathering deeps. She drove in the dark to leeward, she struck, not a reef or a rock, but the combs of a smother of sand. Night drew her dead to the Kentish knock, and she beat the bank down with her bows and the ride of her keel. The breakers rolled on her beam with ruinous shock, and canvas and compass, the whirl and the wheel, idle forever to waft her or wind her with. These she endured. Hope had grown grey hairs, hope had mourning on, trenched with tears, carved with cares. Hope was 12 hours gone, and frightful a nightfall folded rueful a day, nor rescue, only rocket and lightship shone, and lives at last were washing away. To the shrouds they took, they shook in the hurling and horrible airs. One stirred from the rigging to save the wild womankind below. With a rope's end round the man, handy and brave, he was pitched to his death at a blow, for all his dreadnought breast and braids of thew. They could tell him for hours, dandled the to and fro through the cobbled foam fleece, What could he do with the burl of the fountains of air, buck and the flood of the wave? They fought with God's cold, and they could not, and fell to the deck, crushed them, or water and drowned them, or rolled with the sea romp over the wreck. Night roared with the heartbreak, hearing a heart-broke rabble, the woman's wailing, the crying of child without check, till a lioness arose, breasting the babel, a prophetess tarred in the tumult, a virginal tongue told. Ah, touched in your bower of bone are you, turned for an exquisite smart have you, make words break from me here all alone do you, mother of being in me, heart, oh, unteachably after evil, but uttering truth. Why, tears, is it tears? Such a melting, a madrigal start, never eldering revel and river of youth. What can it be, this glee? The good you have there of your own? Sister, a sister calling a master, her master and mine, and the inboard seas run swirling and hauling, the rash smart sloggering brine blinds her, but she that weather sees one thing, one, has one fetch in her. She rears herself to divine ears, and the call of the tall nun to the men in the tops and the tackle rode over the storms brawling. She was first of her five, and came of a coifed sisterhood. O Deutschland, double a desperate name, O world wide of its good. But Gertrude, Lily, and Luther are two of a town, Christ's lily and beast of the waste wood. From life's dawn it is drawn down, Abel is Cain's brother, and breasts they have sucked the same. Loathed for a love men knew in them, banned by the land of their birth, Rhine refused them, Thames would ruin them, surf, snow, river, and earth gnashed. But thou art above, thou Orion of light. Thy unchancelling, poising palms were weighing the worth, thou martyr master. In thy sight storm flakes were scroll-leaved flowers, lily showers, sweet heaven was a strew in them. 5, the finding and sake and cipher of suffering Christ. Mark, the mark is of man's make, and the word of it, sacrificed. But he scores it in scarlet himself on his own bespoken, before time taken, dearest prized and priced, stigma, signal, sancfoil token, for lettering of the lamb's fleece, ruddying of the rose flake. Joy fall to thee, Father Francis, drawn to the life that died, with the gnarls of the nails in the niche of the lance, his lovescape crucified, and seal of his seraph arrival. And these thy daughters, and 5 livid and leaved favour and pride, are sisterly sealed in wild waters, to bathe in his fall gold mercies, to breathe in his all-fire glances. Away in the lovable west, on a pastoral forehead of Wales, I was under a roof here. I was at rest, and they the prey of the gales. She to the black about air, to the breaker, the thickly falling flakes, to the throng that catches and quails was calling, O Christ, Christ, come quickly. The cross to her she calls, Christ to her, christens her wild worst best. The majesty, what did she mean? Breathe, arch and original breath. Is it love in her of the being as her lover had been? Breathe, body of lovely death. They were else-minded then, altogether. The men woke thee with a "We are perishing" in the weather of Genezareth. Or is it that she cried for the crown then, the keener to come at the comfort for feeling the combating keen? For how to the heart's cheering the down-dugged ground, hugged grey, hovers off, the jay-blue heavens appearing of pied and peeled May, blue beating and hoary glow height, or night still higher with belled fire and the moth's soft milky way? What by your measure is the heaven of desire, the treasure never eyesight got, nor was ever guessed what for the hearing? No, but it was not these, the jading and jar of the cart. Time's tasking it is, fathers, that asking for ease of the sodden with its sorrowing heart. Not danger, electrical horror, then further it finds the appealing of the passion is tenderer in prayer apart. Other, I gather, in measure her mind's burden, in wind's burly and beat of the endragoned seas. But how shall I make me room there? Reach me a fancy, come faster. Strike you the sight of it, look at it loom there. Thing that she, there then, the master, ipse, the only one, Christ, King, head. He was to cure the extremity where he had cast her. Do, deal, Lord, it with living and dead. Let him ride her pride in his triumph, dispatch and have done with his doom there. Ah, there was a heart right, there was single eye, read the unshapable shock night, and knew the who and the why, wording it how but by him that present and past, heaven and earth are word of, worded by the Simon Peter of a soul, to the blast Tarpeian fast, but a blown beacon of light. Jesu, heart's light, Jesu made sun. What was the feast followed the night? Thou hadst glory of this none. Feast of the one woman without stain. For so conceived, so to conceive thee is done. But here was heart-throe, birth of a brain, word that heard and kept thee and uttered thee outright. Well, she has thee for the pain, for the patience, but pity of the rest of them. Heart, go and bleed at a bitterer vein for the comfortless, unconfessed of them. No, not uncomforted. Lovely, felicitous Providence, finger of a tender, of a feathery delicacy. The breast of the maiden could obey so, be a bell to ring of it, and startle the poor sheep back. Is the shipwreck then a harvest? Does tempest carry the grain for thee? I admire thee, master of the tides, of the yore flood, of the year's fall, the recurb and the recovery of the gulf's sides, the girth of it and the wharf of it and the wall, stanching, quenching ocean of a motionable mind, ground of being and granite of it, past all, grasp God throned behind, death with a sovereignty that heeds but hides, bodes but abides, with a mercy that outrides the all of water, an ark for the listener, for the lingerer with a love glides lower than death and the dark, a vein for the visiting of the past prayer, pent in prison, the last breath penitent spirits, the uttermost mark, our passion plunged giant risen, the Christ of the Father compassionate, fetched in the storm of his strides. Now burn, new born to the world, doubled natured name, the heaven-flung, heart-fleshed, maiden-furled, miracle in Mary of flame, mid-numbered he in three of the thunder throne. Not a doomsday dazzle in his coming, nor dark as he came, kind, but royally reclaiming his own, a released shower, let flash to the shire, not a lightning of fire hard hurled. Dame at our door drowned and among our shoals, remember us in the roads, the heaven haven of the reward. Our King back, oh, upon English souls, let him Easter in us, be a dayspring to the dimness of us, be a crimson-cresseted east, more brightening her, rare dear Britain, as his reign rolls. Pride, rose, prince, hero of us, high priest, our hearts' charity's hearth's fire, our thoughts' chivalry's throngs, Lord. I have desired to go where springs not fail, to fields where flies no sharp and sided hail, and a few lilies blow. And I have asked to be where no storms come, where the green swell is in the havens dumb, and out of the swing of the sea. Elected silence, sing to me and beat upon my whirled ear. Pipe me to pastures still and be the music that I care to hear. Shape nothing, lips, be lovely dumb. It is the shut, the curfew sent from there where all surrenders come, which only makes you eloquent. Be shelled eyes, with double dark, and find the uncreated light. This ruck and reel which you remark coils, keeps, and teases simple sight. Palate, the hutch of tasty lust, desire not to be rinsed with wine. The can must be so sweet, the crust so fresh, that comes in fasts divine. Nostrils, your careless breath that spend upon the stir and keep of pride, what relish shall the censers send along the sanctuary side? O feel of primrose hands, O feet that want the yield of plushy sword, but you shall walk the golden street, and you unhouse and house the Lord. And poverty, be thou the bride, and now the marriage feast begun, and lily-colored clothes provide your spouse, not labored at nor spun. Felix Randal, the farrier, oh, he is dead then. My duty all ended, who have watched his mold of man, big-boned and hardy handsome, pining, till time when reason rambled in it, and some fatal four disorders fleshed there, all contended. Sickness broke him. Impatient he cursed at first, but mended, being anointed and all, though a heavenlier heart began some months earlier, since I had our sweet reprieve and ransom tendered to him. Ah, well, God rest him all road ever he offended. This seeing the sick endears them to us too it endears. My tongue had taught thee comfort, touch had quenched thy tears that touched my heart, child, Felix, poor Felix Randal. How far from then forethought of all thy more boisterous years, when thou, at the random grim forge, powerful amidst peers, didst fettle for the great grey dray horse, his bright and battering sandal. Margaret, are you grieving over Golden Grove unleaving? Leaves, like the things of man, you with your fresh thoughts care for, can you? Ah, as the heart grows older, it will come to such sights colder by and by, nor spare a sigh, though whirls of one wood leaf meal lie. And yet you will weep, and know why. Now, no matter, child, the name, sorrow's springs are the same. Nor mouth had, no, nor mind expressed what heart heard of, ghost guessed. It is the blight man was born for. It is Margaret you mourn for. How lovely the elder brother's life, all laced in the other's, love-laced. What once I well witnessed, so fortune fell. When Shrovetide, 2 years gone, our boys' plays brought on, part was picked for John, young John. Then fear, then joy ran revel in the elder boy. Their night was come now. All our company thronged the hall. Henry by the wall beckoned me beside him. I came where called, and eyed him by meanwhiles, making my play turn most on tender byplay. For rung all on love's rack, my lad, and lost in Jack, smiled, blushed, and bit his lip, or drove with a diver's dip, clutched hands down through clasped knees. Truth's tokens, tricks like these, old telltales, with what stress he hung on the imp's success. Now the other was brass bold. He had no work to hold his heart up at the strain. Nay, roguish ran the vein. 2 tedious acts were past, Jack's call and cue at last, when Henry, heart forsook, dropped eyes and dared not look. Eh, how all rung! Young dog, he did give tongue. But Harry, in his hands he has flung his tear-tricked cheeks aflame for fond love and for shame. Ah, nature, framed in fault, there's comfort then, there's salt. Nature, bad, base, and blind, dearly thou canst be kind. There, dearly then, dearly I'll cry thou canst be kind. Cloud puffball, torn tufts, tossed pillows flaunt forth, then chevy on an air-built thoroughfare, heaven roisterers, in gay gangs they throng, they glitter in marches. Down rough cast, down dazzling whitewash, wherever an elm arches, shive lights and shadow tackle in long lashes, lace, lance, and pear. Delightfully the bright wind, boisterous ropes, wrestles, beats earth bare of yester tempests, creases, in pool and rut peel parches, squandering ooze to squeezed dough, crust, dust, stanches, starches, squadroned masks, and man marks, treadmire toil there, foot fretted in it. Million fueled, nature's bonfire burns on. But quench her bonniest, dearest to her clearest selvage spark, man. How fast his fire dint, his mark on mind is gone. Both are in an unfathomable, all is in an enormous dark, drowned. Oh, pity and indignation, man-shape that shone, sheer off, disseveral, a star death blots black out, nor mark is any of him at all so stark, but vastness blurs, and time beats level. Enough, the resurrection, a heart's clarion, away, Greece gasping, joyless days, dejection, across my foundering deck shone a beacon, an eternal beam. Flesh fade and mortal trash fall to the residuary worm. World's wildfire leave but ash in a flash. At a trumpet crash, I am all at once what Christ is, since he was what I am, and this Jack, joke, poor potsherd, patch, matchwood, immortal diamond, is immortal diamond. How to keep? Is there any? Is there none such, nowhere known some? Bow or brooch or braid or brace, lace, latch or catch or key to keep back beauty, keep it, beauty, 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 from vanishing away. Oh, is there no frowning of these wrinkles, ranked wrinkles deep down? No waving off of these most mournful messengers, still messengers, sad and stealing messengers of grey? No, there's none, oh no, there's none, nor can you long be what you now are, called fair. Do what you may do what you may, and wisdom is early to despair. Be beginning, since nothing can be done to keep at bay age and age's evils, hoar hair, ruck and wrinkle, drooping, dying, death's worst, winding sheets, tombs and worms, and tumbling to decay. So be beginning to despair. Oh, there's none, no, there's none. Be beginning to despair. To despair, 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 despair. Spare. There is one, yes, I have one, hush there, only not within seeing of the sun, not within the singeing of the strong sun, tall sun's tinging, or treacherous the tainting of the earth's air. Somewhere, elsewhere, there is, well, where? One. Yes, I can tell such a key, I do know such a place, where whatever's prized and passes of us, everything that's fresh and fast flying of us, seems to us sweet of us, and swiftly away with, done away with, undone, done with, soon done with, and yet dearly and dangerously sweet of us, the wimpled, water-dimpled, not by morning matched face, the flower of beauty, fleece of beauty, too apt, too fleet, never fleets more, fastened with the tenderest truth to its own best being and its loveliness of youth. It is an everlastingness of, oh, it is an all youth. Come then, your ways and airs and looks, locks, maiden gear, gallantry and gaiety and grace, winning ways, airs innocent, maiden manners, sweet looks, loose locks, long locks, love locks, gay gear, going gallant, girl grace, resign them, sign them, seal them, send them, motion them with breath, and with sighs, soaring sighs, deliver them, beauty in the ghost, deliver it, early now, long before death, give beauty back, beauty, back to God, beauty's self and beauty's giver. See, not a hair is, not an eyelash, not the least lash lost. Every hair is, hair of the head, numbered. Nay, what we had light-handed left in surly the mere mould will have waked and have waxed and have walked with the wind, what while we slept, this side, that side, hurling a heavy-headed hundredfold, what while we slumbered. Oh, then, weary then, why should we tread? Oh, why are we so haggard at the heart, so care-coiled, care-killed, so fagged, so fashed, so cogged, so cumbered, when the thing we freely forfeit is kept with fonder a care kept than we could have kept it, kept far with fonder a care, and we should have lost it, finer, fonder a care kept. Where kept? Do but tell us where kept, where? Yonder. What high is that? We follow, now we follow, yonder. Yes, yonder, yonder, yonder. Not, I'll not, Carrion Comfort, despair, not feast on thee, not untwist, slack they may be, these last strands of man in me, or most weary, cry, I can no more. I can something, hope, wish day come, not choose not to be. But oh, thou terrible, why wouldst thou, rude on me, thy ring-whirled right foot rock, lay a lion limb against me, scan with darksome devouring eyes my bruised bones, and fan, oh, in turns of tempest, me heaped there, me frantic to avoid thee and flee? Why? That my chaff might fly sheer and clear. Nay, in all that toil, that coil, since seems I kissed the rod hand rather, my heart low lapped strength stole joy, would laugh, cheer whom though? The hero whose heaven handling flung me, foot trod me, or me that fought him? Oh, which one? Is it each one? That night, that year of now done darkness, I, wretch, lay wrestling with my God, my God. No worst, there is none, pitched past pitch of grief, more pangs will, schooled at 4 pangs, wilder ring. Comforter, where is your comforting? Mary, mother of us, where is your relief? My cries heave herds long, huddle in a main, a chief woe, world sorrow. On an age-old anvil wince and sing, then lull, then leave off. Fury had shrieked, no lingering, let me be fell, force I must be brief. Oh, the mind, cliffs of fall, frightful sheer, no man fathomed. Hold them cheap, may who ne'er hung there, nor does long our small durance deal with that steep or deep. Here, creep, wretch, under a comfort serves in a whirlwind. All life death does end, and each day dies with sleep. I wake and feel the fell of dark, not day. What hours, oh, what black hours we have spent this night. What sights you, heart saw, ways you went, and more must in yet longer light's delay. With witness I speak this, but where I say hours, I mean years, mean life. And my lament is cries countless, cries like dead letters sent to dearest him that lives, alas, away. I am gall, I am heartburn. God's most deep decree bitter would have me taste. My taste was me. bones built in me, flesh-filled, blood-brimmed the curse. Self-yeast of spirit, a dull dough sours. I see the lost are like this, and their scourge to be as I am mine, their sweating selves, but worse. Patience, hard thing, the hard thing but to pray, but bid for patience is. Patience who asks, wants war, wants wounds, weary his times, his tasks, to do without, take tosses and obey. Rare patience roots in these, and these away, nowhere. Natural heart's ivy, patience masks our ruins of wrecked past purpose. There she basks, purple eyes and seas of liquid leaves all day. We hear our hearts grate on themselves. It kills to bruise them dearer. Yet the rebellious wills of us we do bid God bend to him even so. And where is he who more and more distills delicious kindness? He is patient. Patience fills his crisp combs, and that comes those ways we know. My own heart, let me more have pity on. Let me live to my sad self hereafter, kind, charitable, not live this tormented mind with this tormented mind, tormenting it. I cast for comfort I can no more get by groping round my comfortless, than blind eyes in their dark can day, or thirst can find thirst all in all a world of wet. Soul, self, come poor Jack self, I do advise you, jaded, let be. Call off thoughts a while elsewhere, leave comfort root room. Let joy, sighs at God knows when, to God knows what, whose smiles not wrung see you, unforeseen times rather, as skies between pie mountains, lights a lovely mile. Thou art indeed just, Lord, if I contend with thee. But, sir, so what I plead is just. Why do sinners' ways prosper? And why must disappointment all I endeavor end? Wert thou my enemy, or thou my friend, how wouldst thou worse, I wonder, than thou dost defeat, thwart me? Oh, the sots and thralls of lust do in spare hours more thrive than I that spend, sir, life upon thy cause. See, banks and breaks now, leaved how thick, laced they are again with fretted chervil. Look, and fresh wind shakes them. Birds build, but not I build. No, but strain, time's eunuch, and not breed one work that wakes. Mine, O thou Lord of life, send my roots rain.